Hello, I am Sergey Beloy, president of a virtual corporation that officially doesn't exist. I haven't registered any official business because I simply cannot afford it. This is not about a nominal price for registering. In my country this fee is quite low. Americans would never understand this. The process of setting up a business in poor countries consists of a long chain of uncertain factors, the only way to manage which is through paying illegal bribes. The problem is, I am not going to pay bribes. It may be I am just a rare exception, but for all my life I have never paid or accept any bribes. I simply want to do a business fair. And precisely because of that, my two-side business would never survive here. So last summer I applied to a rich American company, InfoSpace Incorporated, for a sum of $10 million to register my business in the United States or Europe, where conditions for doing business compared to my Ukraine are fantastically good. Why InfoSpace? During the last 10 years, this corporation, located in the center of Bellevue, Washington, officially demands from me, Sergey Beloy, to compete with itself fair. What is more, two-side is one of my ideas, one of my dreams. InfoSpace killed in 2002. If InfoSpace wouldn't demand to stop my previous web businesses, this project could appear on the internet a decade ago. Why 10 million? Many venture capitalists think startups require much lower investments, in any case not millions. For example, such a famous fund as iCombinator usually offers about $15,000 per a startup. Well, along with another kind of non-material support like PR and contacts with big players in the industry, which is in fact more valuable than any money, but in cash it's only 15,000. The problem, however, is all such contests require obtaining American visa. That for me personally is a practically impossible thing to achieve. So the requested sum of 10 millions wasn't too high, as according to American laws, the only way a citizen of Ukraine can get American visa for sure is through investing into America at least $1 million. Imagine somebody says to an American, hey, to start a business, any business, you need a minimum $1 million. Just try to say it in America. But for people from poor countries like my Ukraine, it's okay, isn't it? The InfoSpace completely ignored my video letters, as well as my existence at all. Obviously, it has never paid me even a penny. Fair competition, isn't it? This is a view from windows of my apartment from which I am shooting this video right now. How can I compete with InfoSpace from Ukraine fair if even any American schoolboy has for granted more rights and money for competition than me? I started two-side project as a part of my completely virtual enterprise OccupyInfospace Incorporated simply because of despair. I need to mention that this decision was greatly inspired by example of creating a virtual venture MMM 2011. Actually, MMM 2011 is the first ever real virtual structure of this kind in the world's history, as far as I know. From where else I could start my global pyramid of thoughts to cite, if not from the global financial pyramid MMM 2011. My aim is to radically change a global information space of the internet. The aim of MMM 2011 is even bigger, to change the whole world. December 22, 2011 may come into the history as a big day, a birthday of my own virtual corporation, OccupyInfospace Incorporated. The first thing I'd like to mention before we go any further with that news, it's not about American company InfoSpace Incorporated as you might guess. Well, the whole story obviously started with their fight against my websites, but I have no wish to speak about it, especially today, at the time of these holidays, beginning of year of the dragon. Infospace has made its choice. It's evident for anybody who watched my open video letters to Infospace and Naveen Jain during the last 6 months, and it's nothing to talk about. You know, our success in this life depends exclusively on what choices we're making at certain important points. I think Infospace and company made a bad choice. And first consequences of that is my 2D-Infospace life story gonna be integrated forever into life cycle of first 2 sites services. Now the OccupyInfospace enters a new stage. It's not about American company Infospace anymore. It's about the whole internet now. Let me start with introducing a new search engine called 2site.com. Obviously, search technologies are important, but they are secondary, compared to often the only decisive factor of any online business, its scale. By definition, a good internet search engine embraces the whole internet. Look at the Google, for example. It has billions of records in its database that occupies a great number of its own web servers throughout the world. It's practically impossible for a new startup, and in my case it's just one poor person in a poor country, to compete with the power of leading search engines. In fact, Google even doesn't know the exact number of its records, and actually doesn't care, because Google believes that in addition to numbers, the quality of search is what matters most, and I completely agree with that point. But how practically to achieve that? How to build an online service as big and as successful as the Google's one? In fact, it's not precisely about the Google. There are many other search engines, including the one from Infospace Incorporated. They all do the same thing. They search through available web pages. What I am proposing to do is to search through available thoughts in those web pages. In particular, my new startup 2site.com points to quotes, citations from web pages. Every such quote includes a short one-sentence summary, so-called main thought of the quote, and each thought has its own mini web page at 2site.com. So the resulting search engine scans its own short mini pages rather than big original pages on the web. The format for 2Site's mini pages is simple: a quote, a quote's source URL, and actually thought, a summary of the quote. My belief is that quality of data created by real human users is higher than quality of a database of links that current search engines create automatically. Look, for example, at my early experiment on developing a database of thoughts at mininews.com. It was a slightly different concept, one thought with many related quotes. It was made several years ago, mostly for creating my personal quote book. Today I am proposing to create a multi-users quote book of the web, 2site.com, with the first ever global search engine for thoughts. The most amazing thing is that a choice for the actual search technology here is not very important. In fact, it could be anything. Just several weeks ago, I started the 2Site search engine with using a simple MySQL code that could be found in probably any manual for the database beginners. I'm also using a very simple HTML design for my 2site.com. Why the next big things should be too complicated? The same about other complexities no corporate website in the world can live without. For example, I could spend a ton of my time for writing detailed multi-pages terms of service, but the problem is actually nobody reads it nowadays. The biggest lie of the century: yes, I read your terms. So I wrote the simplest terms with only 3 clauses, one of which is probably the most important for any website, yet it's amazing I've never seen it elsewhere. Users promise not to abuse the system in any possible form. As simple as that. Just live fair. It cost me only $15 to launch TwoSide.com website. That's the price for registering a new domain name. In fact, I could register it even under $10. Then I simply made it a free add-on to hosting service of my previous web projects. As of today, I have no savings in the bank, no car, no real estate property. I'd like to open to the world my little secret. All the videos I published on YouTube during the last 7 months were created with the simplest tools I could afford to buy. A budget mobile phone, obviously not iPhone, a basic notebook on a budget Celeron processor. The notebook is so basic that I needed to buy a tiny external video cam, as integrated one is far from the best. The above-mentioned property is practically the only valuable asset of the OccupyInfospace Incorporated at the moment. I am starting this project practically from a zero. So it's not about technology, it's mostly about the value of information behind the TwoSide.com. The question, however, is who is going to create it? Who is going to actually form the thoughts database? A short answer is it's you, registered users of TwoSide.com. And here I'd like to remind you the reason why Google has won the whole world. I will tell you it's not because of its unique ranking algorithm. It's because the Google introduced a really new business model, in particular a family of its AdWords programs. To beat the Google, InfoSpace or whatever search leader on the market, projects like TwoSide should introduce an attractive business model too. In general, there must be an incentive for people to enter new records in somebody's search engine. Currently, there are only 2 ways to achieve it: free and paid. The history of the internet has some precedents when a great number of people voluntarily helped certain global online services to grow. The Wikipedia is the most famous example for that. Unfortunately, today it's practically impossible to persuade people to do something for free, and especially to do something for free regularly. The second way to make a paid online service is even more problematic. People are not going to pay. Most of us simply get accustomed for free internet services. Just face it, people simply don't want to pay for online services anymore. So is it really possible for just one person to start something new in the world where only rich corporations can afford their global internet projects? American company InfoSpace Incorporated could easily sponsor development of my search engine. American billionaire and philanthropist Naveen Jain could easily sponsor me as well. They could, but they didn't. And because of that, I'm creating my OccupyInfospace Incorporated. I'm proposing an absolutely new third way to implement my project. What if you are paid for forming TwoSide database? Just imagine this for a moment. For you, there will be no need to do it for free. And there will be no need to wait when some external sponsor or investor decide to support TwoSide officially. In particular, you may obtain a real chance to be rewarded financially even before you become a member of my TwoSide, and rewarded not by me, or rather by a powerful third-party organization. And that's what my purely virtual venture OccupyInfospace Incorporated is all about. It aims to create a new information space of the web, and to show people some fantastically easy ways for becoming rich. I had been desperately trying to find the financing for my web projects during many years, and it appears that the only thing I needed to do for achieving that was to declare clearly just one simple sentence. Only users who became MMM members through my affiliate invite are allowed to enter new thoughts into my two-side com. As simple as that. Why MMM 2011? There are many other opportunities to achieve financing, right? No, there aren't. Even if there were, for people like me, they would be practically unachievable. If you ask me, okay, how much investments do you want for your two-site? I would answer, it's not about how much I want. The more users, the more I need money to support this service. The problem is, two-site is going to be a global project. It aims to occupy the whole web, so since at a certain point it may require the level of financing no single investor in the world is capable to provide. There is only one exception in this case, it's financial pyramid MMM 2011. As of today, to the best of my knowledge, and please take it seriously, MMM is the only business structure on the planet which is capable for practically unlimited growth. Two-site, together with MMM 2011, is a very scalable scheme. The more you invest into it, the bigger it becomes. Please get it right. My business is to run a pyramid of thoughts at twosite.com rather than to promote the MMM 2011. Two-site is a collection of citations on any possible topic, not about MMM only. The two-site service may not be suitable for everyone. It's only for people who think, ideally for the best thought leaders of our society. And to reward my users for participation in collecting interesting citations from the web, I am showing them a simple way to get rich financially as well. I just inform people about existence of a chance to earn a really super profit. Fair. And if they join MMM 2011 with my invite, I am entitled for some percentage from the MMM system, not from those people. Obviously, people are free to join MMM with any other invite, but just keep in mind that entrance to the elite club of two-sites authors will be closed for them practically forever. So, I haven't registered any official business. Why should I? I'm not selling something to other people. I have no product to sell, and I'm not asking people to pay me money for using my online service. I'm providing it for free. Well, under certain conditions, but in any case, I'm not receiving money directly from my users. So officially, two-site is just my hobby. A completely virtual corporation. There is no need to pay bribes to state officials to keep my business running. As I told you earlier, I'm afraid that practice is simply a must for any business in my country. I hate bribes. I've never in my life paid or obtained bribes, and not going to. I also hate all kinds of fraudsters. I want to achieve a financial success fair. On the other hand, up to now I haven't obtained from MMM any single penny yet. I'm not a major investor of MMM. I made only a symbolic deposit there. and that despite that at that time there was, and still there is, a stunning New Year's promotion action from MMM which simply adds to any new deposit 25% immediately, just as a gift. However, I have absolutely nothing to invest right now. I am desperately trying to find some cash to purchase access for a private web service, for example, because today my twosite.com is located at a budget hosting service, and even my login web page uses a secure HTTPS connection that is shared with my ISP. Well, my point is, the first time I see some money, actually any money at all, will be a month later after my users invest something into MMM 2011. But anyway, I am grateful to Sergey Mavrodi's pyramid because it's capable to give me a chance to change this world. Please help me in this. Join the MMM 2011 through my invite to site.